Hello and welcome to today's episode. I'm really glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about something that affects all of us, no matter where we live, how old we are, or how much money we earn. Our topic is the psychology of money, and more specifically, why we often make bad financial decisions even when we know better. Most of us like to believe that we are rational. We think we make logical choices, especially when it comes to important things like money. But in reality, our emotions, habits, and even our childhood experiences often control the way we spend, save, and invest. Understanding this can help us avoid common mistakes and make smarter choices in the future. Let's start with a simple question. Have you ever bought something you didn't really need, and later wondered, why did I do that? Maybe it was an expensive phone, new clothes, or something you saw online late at night. At the moment, it felt like a good idea. But later, you may have felt regret. This is a perfect example of how our feelings can be stronger than our logic. One of the most powerful emotions that influences our financial decisions is fear. Fear can be useful because it protects us from danger. But when it comes to money, fear can sometimes push us to make bad choices. For example, during times of economic crisis, many people panic and sell their investments because they are afraid of losing everything. However, history shows that markets often recover after a crisis. People who sell during a panic often lose money, while those who stay calm and wait may recover their losses or even make a profit. Another strong emotion is greed. Greed is the desire to have more and more, even when we already have enough. This emotion becomes very dangerous in situations where people see others getting rich quickly. When we hear stories about someone who made a lot of money in a short time, we may feel that we are missing out. This feeling is often called FOMO, or the fear of missing out. Because of FOMO, people sometimes invest in risky projects, buy expensive cryptocurrencies, or follow trends without really understanding them. Later, when the trend ends, they are left with losses and frustration. But our financial behavior is not only about emotions. It is also shaped by our past. The way we saw our parents use money when we were children can influence our habits as adults. If you grew up in a family where money was always tight, you might become very careful and afraid to spend, even when you are financially stable. On the other hand, if you grew up in a family that spent money freely, you might find it hard to save, because spending feels normal and comfortable to you. Psychologists call this our money script. A money script is like a story in our mind about what money means and how it should be used. Some people believe that money is a source of security. Others believe that money is there to be enjoyed in the present, because the future is uncertain. Neither of these beliefs is completely right or wrong, but they can lead to different behaviors and different results in life. Another reason we make bad financial decisions is something called instant gratification. This means that we prefer a small reward now instead of a bigger reward later. Imagine you are offered two options: you can receive $50 today, or $100 in a month. Many people choose the $50 today, even though waiting would give them more money. Our brains are designed to value the present more than the future, because in the past, survival often depended on immediate rewards. Modern life makes this problem even worse. With online shopping, credit cards, and one-click payments, it has never been easier to spend money instantly. You don't have to wait, and you don't even have to feel the physical pain of handing over cash. This makes it easier to overspend without thinking about the long-term consequences. Let's talk about another psychological effect called loss aversion. Loss aversion means that we feel the pain of losing money more strongly than the pleasure of gaining the same amount. For example, losing $100 often feels worse than the happiness we feel when we gain $100. Because of this, people sometimes avoid taking reasonable risks, even when those risks could lead to positive results in the long term. Loss aversion also explains why people hold on to bad investments for too long. Imagine you bought shares in a company, and their value dropped by 40%. Instead of selling and accepting the loss, many people keep the shares, hoping the price will go back up. They don't want to feel the pain of admitting that they made a mistake. Unfortunately, this often leads to even bigger losses. Social pressure is another powerful force that affects our financial decisions. Humans are social creatures. We care about what others think of us, and we often compare ourselves to people around us. If your friends are buying new cars, going on expensive holidays, or eating in luxury restaurants, you may feel pressure to do the same, even if you cannot really afford it. This is sometimes called keeping up with the neighbors, and it can push people into debt just to maintain a certain image. Advertising also plays a huge role in how we spend money. Companies spend billions of dollars every year to understand our psychology and influence our choices. Advertisements often connect products with emotions such as happiness, success, or love. For example, a commercial might show a group of smiling friends enjoying a drink together. The message is not only about the drink itself, but about the feeling of belonging and joy. When we buy the product, we are often buying the emotion, not just the object. Another interesting concept in the psychology of money is mental accounting. This means that people treat money differently depending on where it comes from or how they plan to use it. For example, someone might receive a bonus at work and decide to spend it on a luxury item, even though they would never spend their regular salary in the same way. Logically, money is money, no matter its source. But in our minds, we create separate accounts and give them different rules. Let's imagine you find $20 on the street. Many people would feel comfortable spending this money on something fun, like a meal or a small gift. But if they had to take $20 from their own wallet, they might hesitate. The value is the same, but the psychological meaning is different. This shows how our minds can play tricks on us when we deal with money. Now let's discuss overconfidence. Many people believe they are better than average at managing money, investing, or predicting the future of the market. But statistically, not everyone can be above average. Overconfidence can lead people to trade too often, take big risks, or ignore advice from experts. In the world of investing, studies have shown that people who trade more frequently often earn lower returns, partly because of fees and poor timing. We should also talk about the influence of short-term thinking. Humans often focus on what is happening now, and we find it difficult to imagine our future selves. Saving for retirement, for example, requires us to care about a version of ourselves that will exist in 20, 30, or 40 years. This is hard, because that future person feels like a stranger. As a result, many people save too little and only start thinking seriously about retirement when it is almost too late. Culture and society also shape the way we think about money. In some cultures, talking openly about money is considered rude or uncomfortable. This can prevent people from learning from each other's experiences or asking for help when they are in financial trouble. In other cultures, showing wealth is a sign of success and respect, which can encourage people to spend more on visible items like cars, clothes, or houses, even if it damages their financial stability. So far, we have talked about many reasons why people make bad financial decisions: emotions like fear and greed, habits from childhood, social pressure, advertising, mental accounting, overconfidence, and short-term thinking. The big question now is, what can we do about it? The first step is awareness. When you understand that your brain is not always rational, you can start to notice your own patterns. For example, the next time you feel a strong desire to buy something, you can pause and ask yourself, do I really need this, or am I reacting to an emotion or an advertisement? Another useful strategy is to create simple rules for yourself. For instance, you might decide that you will wait 24 hours before making any non-essential purchase. This small delay can reduce the power of instant gratification and give your logical mind time to catch up with your emotions. Automation can also help. Many banks allow you to automatically transfer a part of your salary into a savings or investment account every month. When saving becomes automatic, you don't have to rely on willpower alone. This is important because willpower is limited, especially when we are tired or stressed. It can also be helpful to talk openly about money with people you trust. Sharing experiences and mistakes can reduce shame and help you learn faster. You may discover that others have made similar errors and found practical ways to fix them. Another powerful technique is to make your future self more real in your mind. You can try to imagine your life in 20 or 30 years. Where will you live? What kind of lifestyle do you want? Do you want to work full-time, or would you prefer to have more freedom? When you create a clear image of your future, it becomes easier to make sacrifices today in order to support that future version of yourself. Education also plays a key role. Many schools do not teach practical financial skills, such as budgeting, investing, or understanding loans and interest rates. As adults, we often have to learn these things on our own. Reading books, listening to podcasts, or taking online courses about personal finance can give you the knowledge you need to make better decisions. It is also important to accept that mistakes are normal. Everyone, even financial experts, has made bad decisions at some point. The goal is not to be perfect, but to learn and improve over time. If you lose money because of a bad investment or spend too much on unnecessary things, try to see it as a lesson rather than a personal failure. Let's also remember that money is not only about numbers. It is connected to our values, our dreams, and our relationships. For some people, spending money on travel or experiences brings more happiness than buying physical objects. For others, saving and investing creates a sense of security and peace of mind. There is no single correct way to use money, but there are healthier and less healthy patterns of behavior. One useful question to ask yourself is, does this purchase or decision bring me closer to the life I want? If the answer is yes, then it may be a good use of your money. If the answer is no, then it might be better to save or invest that money instead. Finally, try to be kind to yourself. Changing financial habits takes time, just like changing eating habits or exercise routines. You will not become a perfect money manager overnight. But with awareness, education, and small consistent actions, you can gradually make better choices and reduce the number of costly mistakes you make. To sum up, we make bad financial decisions not because we are stupid or careless, but because we are human. Our brains evolved to deal with immediate dangers and rewards, not with complex financial systems, online shopping, and long-term investments. By understanding the psychology behind our behavior, we can design systems and habits that protect us from our own weaknesses. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope it has given you new insights into your own financial behavior and maybe inspired you to look at your money decisions in a new way. In the next episode, we will continue exploring practical strategies to build healthier financial habits and create a more secure future. Until then, take care of yourself and your money.